Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really core concept in learning, response maintenance. Basically, it's all about making sure that the skills we learn actually stick around for the long haul, instead of just fading away over time.
Okay, so let's start with the official definition. Response maintenance is the continuation of a behavior even after the training contingencies have been removed. So, what does that really mean? Well, it means a skill that someone learned continues to be used, right there in its original setting, even after all the direct teaching and rewards have stopped.
To make that a little clearer, think about this analogy. Imagine a highly trained athlete who keeps performing at an elite level even when their coach isn't there giving them instructions every single day. Why? Because the skills are so deeply ingrained they've become automatic. And that's really the essence of response maintenance, making a skill a natural, lasting part of who someone is.
Now, let's look at a real-world example from our source material to see how this actually works. We're going to follow a teacher named Sherry and see what happened in her classroom.
Sherry's intervention basically had 3 stages. First up, you have the training phase. This is where she taught her students how to complete their assignments and reinforced them when they did it successfully. Next, she moved into the fading stage, where she gradually pulled back on that direct support. And the result? Well, her students kept completing their assignments correctly, all on their own.
And this, right here, is a perfect illustration of response maintenance. The student's new behavior, completing their assignments, it persisted under the original conditions, in the classroom, even after Sherry's direct support was taken away. The skill was successfully maintained.
Of course, this idea isn't just for the classroom, not at all. It applies to countless skills that are just fundamental to our everyday lives. You know, when you really think about it, response maintenance is pretty much the goal of almost any kind of teaching. Just look at these examples. You can see maintenance in action everywhere. It could be a student still solving math problems months after a token system is ended, or someone brushing their teeth every night without needing any praise or reminders. It also applies to things like chores, social skills, and even self-management, like sticking to a savings plan. In every single one of these cases, the behavior has become independent and lasting. That's what successful maintenance looks like.
All right, so to really sharpen our understanding here, let's clarify what response maintenance is by taking a quick look at what it isn't.
So, a really common point of confusion is the difference between maintenance and something called stimulus generalization. Here's the key. Response maintenance is about a skill persisting over time in the original setting. Stimulus generalization, on the other hand, is about that same skill showing up in new settings or with new people. Put simply, maintenance is about a skill lasting, while generalization is about a skill spreading.
So to be even more precise, if a behavior only happens during a therapy session, that's not maintenance. If it stops the very second you stop giving rewards, well, that's actually called extinction, not maintenance. And if the person starts doing different versions of the skill or does it in completely new places, we're talking about different kinds of generalization, not maintenance itself.
Okay, this all leads to the big practical question, right? If our goal is to build skills that are lasting and durable, how do we actually do that? How can we design our teaching to promote response maintenance right from the very beginning?
Well, the source materials point to several key strategies. One is to use intermittent reinforcement, spreading out the rewards to build resilience instead of rewarding a behavior every single time. Another is to fade your prompts gradually, not just remove them all at once. And this one is crucial. Connect the skill to natural reinforcers, the real-world benefits that make that skill valuable in the first place. And finally, teach the skill in the natural context where it's actually going to be used.
So we've explored what it is, what it isn't, and how to achieve it. Let's boil all of this down to one final critical point about why this all matters so much.
Here's the key takeaway. Response maintenance is the ultimate sign of successful learning. It really marks that transition from a skill that was just being taught to one that is truly owned by the learner. It's just like the slide says. It's the proof that if you teach a skill well and then let it go, it will keep happening because it was truly learned. And ultimately, that's the goal of all education.